Hola, ¿cómo estás? I just wanted to say that I basically am going to change the way that I talk to people on here because I need to use different words in order to allow my information to get out. So there's no particular topic for today. I just want you guys to strive for your best and use, like, you really need to use your higher judgment and higher brain functioning to pick and choose the people that you allow in your life is mostly what I'm talking about, because there's just so many people who they act as though the traditional thing is not possible due to internet and due to Instagram and social media and yada yada. However, it is still possible, and it's actually dependent upon how intelligent you are. Like, loyalty is, the more loyal an individual is, the smarter they are. Like literally, the higher their IQ is. So psychologically, it does hold weight, and I find that to be correlated with the fact that there's a very low percentage of real, genuine, well-rounded, wholehearted, amazing individuals. Like, I know that there are so many great people, but I'm talking about like the full package deal, right? So without, well, that's a different topic, but so when people bring up these stories, I feel like I should be some sort of relationship or divorce lawyer, or like relationship coach, or some sort of health and life coach or something like that, because for people in their relationships, like a relationship therapist or something, but like I'm really aggressive, so you would have to be ready to like get the work done, and you would need to be like dead ass serious, like and everything would just be about, you know, your levels of effort and your levels of loyalty and your levels of intelligence, and how you view family and protecting your family, and how you view security and protecting your health and wealth, and what you're willing to do, and what you're willing to put on the line for your future or for your family's security. You know, like, I think that is what it comes down to, because if you were a person who was messing around, then to me that means that you don't really care about your family's security then, because you're allowing other people in, and you're allowing this mixing and mingling. Like, when I view a family and a real loyal situation, right, that's hopefully safe, or as safe as we possibly can be at this point, I view it to be very private, and although like diverse, right? Although there are risks involved because we would be traveling or whatever it would be, or whatever the situation would be, but you know, you're living life, so different things come up. There's different locations involved. Like, I could end up in Morocco, I could end up in Australia on the south coast, working in a random fucking bar. I could start a brand, like, from South America. I could launch products. You know, like, there's so many possibilities in so many cities. And my one friend and I, we were talking, and she's like, yeah, there's money in every city. It's just which city you're choosing, and what you're really doing. Like, are you there for to stay, or is it temporary? Like, what is it dependent upon? So these are the types of things that I like to think about, and I don't have time to think about and talk about people's petty arguments. So I want to talk about real estate. I want to talk about investments. I'm interested in international real estate, and I love interior design and green architecture, in the sense that there's so many plants involved and so much taken into consideration in terms of like an Earthship home model, for example, or a luxury home underground or on the side, in the side of a mountain, or these types of things. Like, I could see myself, I'm just in the summer mood here right now currently, because I am teaching swimming lessons now for one of my clients, and it's just amazing. Like, first of all, I love teaching swimming, and it just brings me back to when I was like a camp counselor teaching art, ceramics, and swimming, and I just love that period of my life. And I just have always been a fan of swimming. I mean, it's always been in my life, so I find it fascinating that I get to teach adults now too. And I teach private lessons because for me it has to be one-on-one. And then, so I'm interested in like international investments, international banking, international lifestyles. Like, I want to have access to the truth as well as a quality lifestyle. So that just brings me to other aspects of our society that we need to take into consideration, including institutions and the way that they treat people, right? So, for example, the fact that there are more prisons in this country than there are schools. So let me just repeat that. There are more prisons by a long shot in this country than there are schools to teach people. Okay. And then you add in hospitals to that mix, and other correctional centers, churches, so many institutional settings that are both private and public. So that's why I view it as being a very simple concept to be loyal to your significant other. If you found a bond with someone and you feel that, you pretty much can't deny it, and you actually can't get away from it. Like, it's something that you signed in the heavens. It's a contract that you already signed. Not necessarily in another life. Actually, you were still alive the whole time. It was just that you were in a different place in time. And so you were in a different place with a different person, but you were still you, actually. So that's why it's like unmistakable. So yes, there are more than one soulmate. However, when you find it, it's undeniable, and you can't really let go of the bond even if you tried. And then your life changes. Like, this is when people's lives change. So you have to be extremely, for me now that I learned, I have to be very logical, cautious, protective, just aware, heightened sense of awareness across the board, just because my life is different and I have to take other things into consideration. And for me, like the loyalty is a basic concept. The security is a very basic concept to have a foundation, the trust, all of those things for me. Like, I like to give away my warmth for free. But I realized over the years that I can't do that anymore. So I have to be extremely specific as to who I share my light with. And that's hard for me because I want it to be given all the time, unconditional, like non-stop type stuff, without me being taken advantage of. And so it puts me in a difficult position, you know? Because then I'm forced to have to change myself and make myself less pure to accommodate other people who are, you know, out of line, out of control. They lack etiquette. They don't know how to stand up for themselves and others, or just any case where someone is just like, they're very rude, or, you know, they don't have the, they're not humane, let's just put it that way. And then those are the same people who are heavily medicated. They're usually attached to big pharma, and they're usually either that or they're heavy drinkers. I'm not shitting on alcohol at all. I'm saying alcohol is a drug as well. So you can't really play this game where you put one above the other. And I think everyone deserves to live it up. And I think everyone deserves to celebrate. Which could involve dipping and dabbling with some things that you want to experiment with. However, I would say this involves directly trust and relationships and loyalty and values, because you have to watch who you're talking to, what you're saying to them. And I can't stand being censored. I cannot stand this whole censorship thing. It really blows my mind and drives me crazy, to the point that it makes me feel like I can't really connect with my own people. Like I can't connect with like I'm being cut off or whatever. But I also feel as though I don't have a total balance in my life. Of course, everyone's life is out of balance, and everyone needs to identify those pieces. It's just that loyal people are not up for criticism from people who are petty and scattered and over-medicated and unhealthy and unbalanced to the extremes of way more areas than you can imagine, on the low. Loyal people, although I want to share my experiences with everyone for their benefit, that doesn't mean I'm up for advice and criticism. No one ever said I was asking you guys for advice, and no one ever said that I was up for being picked apart or categorized. And I find that to be hilarious. And I find it to be shocking in some circumstances when some of these people are coming out of the woodwork acting like, okay, so what they do is they themselves are petty and heavily on drugs and heavily unbalanced in different areas, and they want to come tell someone who's wholehearted and well-rounded and, you know, steadfast, loyal, grounded, loyal, you know, those are two different those are two different levels. I was telling my friend, it's two different languages. Like, we're speaking two different languages. It's like alpha, beta. Like, and this is why I view loyal people as alpha. And this is why you don't compromise in your relationships. And that's why I would like to teach etiquette within people's growth development plans within their relationships. And it's fascinating because it's so complex, right? Because we're talking about human beings who are ever changing. But we're also talking about human beings with souls who have contracts. So you have these undeniable contracts with people too that you really, once you find them, you can't turn back. I mean, there's no point in trying to pretend like you're going to turn back. And I mean, we all just can't wait to have that, right? And you have to go through all these learning experiences and learning curves to take into consideration the other possibilities. Like, you do have options, yes, but what are you really looking for? And what can you really handle? And do you know this person, or is it just what you like that they look like? Or is it socially, how you like them socially and not emotionally, or what? You guys are allowing different things to get to you from society, which I find to be unacceptable, and also it's a rare occurrence for you to find a loyal person getting infiltrated. While a loyal person is in a relationship, it's going to be rare to find them getting infiltrated from society and allowing society to brainwash them, because they're already sold on a contract of previous agreement that is not from here. So it doesn't go off of these earthly, made-up, man-made laws. I hope this makes sense. I really do. And I'm talking about relationships across the board, which is why it's so intense and interesting, because it's not just between men and women, right? It's between men and men, women and women, and whatever you want to call whatever we're talking about. And I'm talking about our intimate, serious, long-term, trustworthy, you know, things where you're splitting properties with people, you're owning multiple businesses with these people because you trust them so much, you trust them in business, you're running down the line, running family businesses, etc. Managing accounts, managing a lot of money, you know, the responsibilities are going to be high. And loyal people are out there. So I've been through so many different ridiculous situations, but it was just for my own growth and expansion, and I can look back on it and just laugh at the people too, for the way that these people decide to act is very comical, and they really do lack etiquette. And I don't know what it is. It's kind of like when someone thinks it's okay to be late to something, like, and I'm not talking third world time, I'm talking first world time. If someone thinks, you know, like that's okay, and you have appointment after appointment after appointment, and you have like client after client after client, like I used to triple book myself, and that's a lot, because that we're talking several different neighborhoods with me driving, not me taking public or cabs or anything. And driving takes a toll after a while. And then my clients also want to have heavy conversations while we're in the car. And my clients will be like, hey, like, I'm playing this video game, like, you have to watch. And they want me to watch it so bad, just so many distractions, you know? And I think that I'm getting prepped for, obviously, raising a family, but I think it's fucking funny to work with adults who are actually kids inside, but they're way smarter and they're not brainwashed. So it's like, because they're autistic, they're kind of like off the grid. Like, they have cell phones and stuff, but they are not as brainwashed as you would think. even for the ones that are medicated, they're still not brainwashed, and you could never sell them on anything. Like, they would never buy your little scheme. They would never buy your little talk. You know what I mean? And they are truly my angels. And they walk next to me, and I protect them in this world, and they protect me elsewhere. So I hope that this makes sense for y'all. And I just want everyone to know that I'm trying to use better words and, you know, construct my diction in such a way that I can actually post a video without being censored. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. As you know, I don't celebrate, but like these first world fake, extremely fabricated holidays, inverted, I mean, so I am so excited, and I love you all so much, and I cannot wait to share my books with everyone and my research with everyone as well. Love you. Ciao.